worry, I'm fine.
Thank goodness.
Knew it couldn't be that bad. No way.
Hot damn, we are good!
Yes! Bombs detonated 1, members lost 0. And one step closer to a brighter future.
Hell yeah!
Guys! Lower your voices, huh? People are listening.
Oh,
Right!
Barrett, literally, you started it.
Just be ready for the next mission, all right? At 7th Heaven, you know, where Tifa works. Don't keep her waiting. She'll worry.
She'll worry.
Oh, don't worry, Barrett. I'm only gonna keep her waiting as long as it takes me to listen to all the NPC dialogue.
We even got to see the Shinra bootlicker hug his daughter.
We did. Shinra Middle Manager is one of my favorite minor characters in this entire game. He has a couple of moments where you can't miss him, but also, like, you can just find him around for a lot of the game, and I will be seeking him out.
And say what you will, he did stand up to Barrett.
He did.
This hulking mass with a gun arm.
He stood up for what he believed in.
Even though his beliefs are crap.
If I did, I don't remember.
How are people here taking the news?
It's got a lot of them worried, but not enough to stop them from partying, I guess.
So one of the interesting things about the original game is that obviously it was it used pre-rendered backgrounds, similarly to how, you know, the original Resident Evil games did, and a lot of stuff like that. So when you were down in the slums of Midgar with an overhead camera angle, you couldn't really get perspective on where you were, what the space was. You kind of had to take the game's word for it about where you were. The fact that you can turn the camera in this one is kind of a major revelation in some ways. Oh, but hold on. Graveyard's closed.
The locals was attacked by some kind of monster, so the watch told people to keep out.
Train graveyard, not a real graveyard. And hold on, if we go listen to these guys.
What are we even doing here? No one in their right mind would go into a train.
Is he holding a gun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of them are.
Rumors spread and kids get curious. You know how it is.
Speaking of which, you hear it was supposedly a ghost, not a monster, that attacked that guy this afternoon?
Ridiculous.
You must have been seeing things.
Ridiculous. Monsters are real, but I don't believe in ghosts.
So they're the guy, guards, not the guys. They are the guys.
They're not, we will meet the neighborhood watch a little bit later of this area. They're not necessarily Shinra employees. What does this dude think he's looking for with that flashlight?
Don't worry about it. Yeah, it really is funny in this world of monsters and magic. It's like, ghosts? Bah!
That feels very
Can't
much
have
like
that.
the really weird Ruby insistence later on in Ruby when they're like, we have semblances and aura and but there's no such thing as magic though.
We thought you were dead.
Just seeing your faces.
Are you crying?
Yeah, I kind of forgot initially to stop and crank the camera up. When I shot this episode 2 years ago, I had it on the top of my mind, and when I shot it this time, I forgot about it until a little bit later. 'Cause I did need to reshoot it because I needed to fix a couple of other things about it. But one screw up was that I didn't immediately remember the cool thing we can do now that we have full camera control.
How about what?
So this one is a weird one. That couple who are like, oh boy, we're gonna go do something. We're like, those two NPCs were standing at the exact same spot next to the train station in the original game, talking about the exact same thing. The crowd was not nearly as dense back then, but those two were there,
Interesting.
and they're still there. There's just lots of stuff like that scattered around. But anyway, you can see there are a lot of internal tunnels because there's a heck of a lot of different trains going to different places in this town. But you can see some exterior, what looks like exterior tracks behind the scaffolding on the big central strut back there. But yeah, now, couldn't do this back in 1997. We can actually crank the camera up and we can see what this place actually looks like when you're living here and looking up at it. which really changes the feel of it quite a bit.
Yeah.
In fact, there's literally an interview with one of the developers. I want to say it was Yoshinori Kitase, who was the director of the original game, who was talking about, I was stunned when we were working on the remake, and I realized that there was technically like sunlight and moonlight down there. Because even though there's these big plates overhead, there are gaps, and like there's the outside isn't covered up. You can look out of the city, and like I mean over there, like we can see there. That's just empty air out ahead of us. We can see like a couple of support areas, but not like it's just empty. It's or rather it's open.
It's just the little things that you may not like notice or think about when it's left to your imagination.
Yeah.
For the day. We will provide an update on the schedule first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you for your patience. Emergency train services.
When I put him in charge of my stand, I told him, son, the goal isn't to make a fortune. It's to make.
Is this your son running the stand? Are you standing here and talking about his performance while he is working?
That's harsh. That's rough, buddy.
He was saying nice things about him, but that doesn't make it feel. That doesn't make it any better.
This time he was.
Here's Shinra Middle Manager. Oh wait, the subtitles reminded us who he is, just in case we forgot. That's his name. Don't wear it out.
Really? That's great.
Sure is, sweetie.
They'll have that Mako reactor back up and running again in no time. Please ignore the fact that it's just a bunch of twisted steel and scrap with no roof right now.
Yep.
That's not important.
That's quite a commute for
the reactor core is open.
I wish I could tell you, but sadly, I don't share your passion for
They had this
processed
one
food.
drink in Wall Market. Tasted like the nectar of the gods.
We ain't got shit like that here. How about one that tastes like
here
the
can
piss?
take one look at you and know exactly what you want.
God piss is probably, I mean, it's probably better than, like, horse piss, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about alcohol earlier, and Joey said, everybody tells me beer tastes like horse piss. I don't think I really need to bother getting into that scene.
And it doesn't help that I mentioned IPAs and both of you recoil. It's like, why do people like this?
I don't know.
I like the art on IPA like cans.
See, and that's the thing, is I do feel like IPAs have some of the better art on them.
Well done, dear.
So pulling some OT when it happened.
Some guys on the train were saying stuff about.
If you missed that, Shinra Middle Manager, yeah, he's saying it again. There were guys on the train criticizing Shinra and saying stuff, and then his wife was like, I'm sure you told them what for. And he'd say, absolutely. They were crying and running away by the time that I was done with them.
He's so cool.
Now, this retake was absolutely worth it, because this dude, where's he taking that sack?
He sure is taking it, though.
I thought maybe if I, like, shoved him a little bit, I could break him out of whatever spell he was in. He's on his way! He's doing it! He's going somewhere! He's headed to... Oh, no! Oh, no, Sackboy! My favorite PlayStation mascot character.
He's just getting his exercise.
He's getting his steps in. He knows exactly how many steps it is back to town, and it's not enough for him to be done for the day. He didn't get to go to the gym because of the attack, you know? He had to get back to a train quickly.
He could be, you know, it's like, well, it takes 5 minutes to get here, but I told him it would take 15.
Is this the, like, narrower walkway you were talking about?
Oh, there's going to see a lot of narrow walkways in a few minutes here.
Mako is the lifeblood of the planet? Yeah, the hell it is. Goddamn eco-warriors with their dumbass posters. I tear them down and they're back up inside of an hour. Like I've got nothing better to do. I mean, look at all that steel work. You trying to tell me that's not progress? What the? You okay, buddy? Mako junkie, huh? Figures.
Cloud, get your crackhead ass into some rehab. Ain't no Sephiroth girl here.
You again.
Here of all places.
That hot shower can't come soon enough. I can barely tell my skin from all the ash and sweat.
When I get back, it's refueling time.
And you, Jesse?
I don't know. Figure out how I screwed up.
Before we follow them, though, two other NPCs that were in the original game at about this spot and had similar stuff to say.
Excuse me? Due to an emergency, entry into this area is prohibited. Sorry for the inconvenience.
You called that a warning?
No, sir!
I love these goobers.
In accordance with emergency regulations, entry into this area is prohibited. Please, leave at once.
Still too nice!
This area is off limits! Turn around and leave at once! If you don't, I'll have no choice but to use force!
Now you're getting the hang of it!
Public security should know who did it. So...
Real upstanding guys in public security.
Come on, it's one little question.
The attack happened, like, barely an hour ago. I don't know how they could know who did it. I mean, they do, because they monitored the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I assume...
these little guys guarding the gate do not know who did it.
God, this game is just so beautiful.
Once again, police supplies are currently being distributed in the lobby of the
Glad I got today off. Am I still going to have a job? Guess I'll find out. Did everyone get out in time?
Please contact the nearest Shinra employee for assistance. Mayor Domino, in conjunction with President Shinra, has declared a state of emergency in Midgar.
Are they going to turn the reactor off? Why did people blow it up?
Their power to provide aid to those most in need. As yet, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but security services are working tirelessly to identify those involved.
What the?
If you have
That's
any
where I work.
information pertaining to the
No
identity of the
freaking way.
perpetrators,
Put that
please
fire out,
contact your
idiots.
public security
I was there
officer or
yesterday.
security headquarters. Once again, police supplies are currently being
What do you know?
distributed in the
That ain't
lobby
half
of the
bad.
Shinra building.
I'll make a grease monkey out of you yet.
Thanks. I've always dreamed of opening up my own shop, so I can look after my parents, you know?
Well, a man can always dream, can he?
There are... So this area we're in right now, we're going to be in for a while, and a lot of these NPCs, they don't even have names, are going to get little updates as it goes on, and we're going to hear more stuff about what's going on with them.
Marlene.
Daddy, you're home!
That's right, Angel.
Welcome
back. Have you been a good girl?
Yeah, I've been helping Tifa.
Oh, you did you? Well, well.
You made it. Where'd you get that? I can't remember the last time I saw a real one. Huh? How sweet. When did you get so thoughtful?
Guy can change. Has been 5 years.
Huh?
I need to talk to Barrett.
Right. Come on in.
She's so tiny. He's sitting next to
The
him.
Mako place blew up. Everyone on TV's talking about it.
Don't you worry about all that silliness. Daddy's here and he's not going anywhere tonight. Now turn that thing off and let's get you to bed, huh?
Do you mind keeping Marlene company until I'm done with this?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, your money. Ask Tifa. She takes care of all that.
Well, I got nobody else to talk to now.
Hey! What the hell you think you're doing, scaring my daughter like that?
Daddy says never talk to strangers.
That's right, honey. I do say that. What a good girl you are remembering Daddy's lessons.
Claus just got those killer eyes.
What else good girls do?
He just scares everybody everywhere that he goes. They say, ah, a twink!
But I'm not tired. I want to talk some more, Daddy.
He's got the eyes that'll get you randomly selected at Disney World 10 out of the 12 times you go into a park.
My money. I'm still waiting on it.
Right. About that. We should talk outside.
I will say, I just made fun of Cloud. A lot of people in this game, like when they were showing off his, like how he looked early on. Oh, hold on.
Did the people who died all return to the planet?
Of course. Let that be a lesson to you.
A lot of people, when they showed off Cloud's design for this game early on, like complained that he looked too skinny and didn't have enough muscles. And I'm like, guys, look at his biceps.
Yeah.
That is a perfectly reasonable, like he's built like Bruce Lee was. He's fine.
Yeah.
There's an empty
Oh, there's no way he could swing that sword around. Yeah?
I was thinking you could.
That's your problem?
The landlady's a big friend of the cause, so you wouldn't even have to pay rent. Sound good?
Sure does. Thanks.
Follow me then. How was it up on the plate?
It was chaotic.
Sorry for dragging you into all this. It was wrong of me to put you in danger like that. I promise I won't do it again.
Danger's part of the job. Don't worry about me.
Just bump into that guy.
Don't worry about it.
Always happy to help stick it to Shinra.
Not good at all.
I don't know what it is, but my life feels so
So,
empty.
you make nice with everyone?
Much as I could, all things considered. Maybe not enough for them.
Good. You had me worried. You're not exactly a people person.
I'll give you that.
I saw Sector 8 on the news. It was like a war zone.
The news is just another Shinra mouthpiece. They'll spread whatever lies Shinra tells them to.
So, it wasn't that bad?
It was.
Oh, right. And here we are. Good old Stargazer Heights. You're on the second floor. Room 201 here is where I sleep. Don't have time for much else, what with Seventh Heaven and all.
I was about to make fun of her, like, not where you live, but I guess she justified calling and saying sleep.
Here's your room, 202. Don't worry, I already told the landlady about you.
You did?
Yes? Oh, I mean, I told her I had a friend looking for a place to stay. Was that too much?
No. It's fine. And this?
That one's, know what? It's getting late. I'll introduce you tomorrow.
It's getting late. Joey wants dinner.
But I don't need it.
If it didn't come through, Joey's stomach went a second ago.
That's Tifa's room.
It just won't stop.
Don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
It's like, why is that even there? Why do they even have the prompt?
What are you doing? You've never even met this person.
Ah, well.
Guess I'll go on my own.
Strangers are just friends you haven't met yet.
Right.
It's a little bare, but should be enough to get you through the night. If you want anything else, we can always get it.
There's one thing. My money. You guys owe me 2,000,
The
remember?
moolah, dinero, Tifa.
I do. And we'd love to settle up, especially since this was your first job for us, but...
That's it?
Sorry, we spent the rest preparing for the mission. That really is it. But not for long. I'm collecting money for filters tomorrow, so I can pay you after.
And you're sure about that?
Of course, as long as you help, that is. Wait, then I'd have to pay you for that too. Never mind.
No, 2,000's enough. That's what we agreed on, so that'll be the price. With what you gave me, that leaves 1,500.
Oh, he knows how to do math. He is the best.
I'll see you bright and early at the bar.
This is turning into Animal Crossing for her.
Thanks again for everything. Sleep tight.
He's a light sleeper.
Can you imagine if he was on the bottom floor?
Guess it's time for introductions.
That guy needs some Pepto-Bismol or something.
He sounds like me.
He's having a rough time over there. Hello? Oh my. Make sure there isn't a sock on the door, Cloud. You never know what you're going to be walking into.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, I don't know what's going on over there. Something's
Yeah,
going on, but I don't know if it's any of my business.
If my neighbors were making that noise, we'd have a problem.
Would you be knocking on the door and saying, hey?
Probably not. But I might hit a wall.
You okay in there?
Let's see how this works out for Cloud.
It's definitely a dog, is it not?
Coming in.
It's been really just walking into this apartment.
God. That joke was in a trailer of him. His sword's so big he can't pull it out. Oh my god. This is so forward, Sephiroth. We haven't seen each other in years, please.
Cloud, stop! Get back inside! Get off me!
What are you doing to Marco? This is his apartment. He's got a few problems, but he's not a bad guy. The landlady asked me to check on him now and then to make sure he's okay. Can I ask you to do the same?
Sure.
Okay, I was joking before. I think Cloud really does need some therapy.
Damn Mako junkies.
Damn Mako junkies. I really want to know how that works. Because I think in canon, materia is like crystallized.
Yeah.
Mako, like, do you have to? Do you like suck on materia like a jawbreaker?
Ooh,
That'd be
good if they were a little bit smaller.
Do you drink the Baja Blast? Do you have to like? Do you hold on? Do you inhale it? Right.
I was gonna say I think you just work into fumes for too long.
Sorry. But I mean, after you become a junkie, how do you get your fix though? Is what I'm saying. After they kick you out.
I told you this earlier. You put a straw in the ground.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I'm thinking if those are going back to the materia, just like crush them up and snort them.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like,
I guess it depends on how hard they are to crush. But I guess if you got, I don't know. We'll see what kind of tools you need to do that sort of thing. So we got to stop here for a second and talk about some technical stuff. This is a PlayStation 4 game that we're playing. All right. It's a secret PlayStation 5 game.
Okay.
You see this door? Does anything look weird about that door to you, Aiden? Does it look like that door maybe isn't quite finished loading in?
Yeah.
It's never going to finish loading in. No matter how long I stand here, it's not going to load in. People noticed these doors pretty quickly, but other stuff too, like some of the signs in Sector 8 back there. There are a lot of textures in this game that never fully load in.
Okay.
You see stuff in games where it's like, okay, it takes, games always have to prioritize what loads in.
Yeah.
They have systems that are called, I'm not a game developer, but I know a few things. Some game developers are going to want to kill me after this discussion, but it's fine. Hierarchical level of detail is basically where you decide the amount of detail that's rendered in depending on how close you are to an object. So like a really simple version of it will render if you're really far away or if you're not looking at it so that there's not too much being strained. The system isn't strained too much. It seems like this game was not hitting a consistent 30 frames per second on PS4. Because it is a really consistent 30 frames per second unless you're doing a lot of extremely taxing action stuff in this game. It's pretty consistent at 30. It seems like what happened was they went in and they picked a lot of textures and they just set them to be the far distance simplistic render and locked it at that. Now, another thing to note is this game is one of the few big AAA releases in recent years to not get a day one patch. Because this was released in March or April of 2020, just 2020, period. I almost said 2021. So this was wrapping up development right when the pandemic happened, and Square had to switch to working from home. So the game went gold right as that was happening, and they started printing copies. And I think they were so focused on rearranging everything that there was no patch. Now that does mean this game didn't get a patch at all. It's like very low on bugs. It runs wonderfully. I consider this to be one of the most polished at-launch AAA games of recent years.
For sure.
But these issues didn't get fixed, including when we're up here. Check it out. Other than that one dude hammering nails into the roof over there,
nobody's moving.
All the NPCs are totally frozen. There's a lot
there's one guy in the bottom there looking around too.
And that one kid moved for a second, and then they stopped again. There's a lot of stuff like this in the game that doesn't exist in the PlayStation 5 and PC version. It did get cleaned up in that version, but this game basically never got a patch.
Okay.
The only patch that this game got wasn't a game balance patch or a glitches patch. It was a adding compatibility to transfer your save to the PlayStation 5 version patch, basically.
Interesting.
And similarly, if you look at that skybox, you'll notice that even it is a little bit low resolution. No, not a little bit, noticeably low resolution. And the perspective down at the bottom where like it should be curving a little bit or something is really messed up.
Yeah.
When you're just looking up at it from above and you're down on street level, it looks pretty fine. But we're gonna see a couple of, I guess it's hard to call them skyboxes because it's not a sky. They're supposed to be structure, and that is a lot harder to do. But most of these are pretty scuffed in this game.
Okay.
I mean, you're looking at it, it gets the job done. It only looks bad because we're stopping and staring right at it.
And if you, on that frame, I was looking at like the buildings that are rendered in, and then you look up at the sky and you're like, oh wow, that is a huge difference.
With that in mind, while we're up here, you can see there is a lot more of the slums outside of just where we are. Some of it looks like it may be like abandoned buildings even, who knows, but there are a lot of lights on, there are other structures, so there are a lot of people living down here. Despite the fact that the one town that we are in is referred to as just the Sector 7 slums, it seems like it's just like the most, it's like kind of the central area that's right next to the train station to the upper plate. So it's kind of the biggest town down here, but this is a large area. Right here, he doesn't have a line of dialogue, but he does kind of shake his head and shrug a little bit. That is a very direct reference to an animation that he did in his basic polygonal form back in the original game, where he would tilt his head to the side and shrug his shoulders and lift his hands up, which we'll see a little bit later when we take a moment to look at the original game.
Now, you must be Cloud.
She looks a little bit like Yzma.
So how'd you like the place?
She does.
You from up on high?
I've been around.
I'll bet. No matter. All kinds come through with all kinds of reasons. If you ever need an ear to bend, I'll lend you mine. Can be about anything, even Tifa.
What's she to you?
The granddaughter I never had, and if you hurt her, I'll take it out of your hide. You hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good. Now you'd best get a move on to 7th Heaven. She's got a head start on you, and then some.
So this character may or may not be a fun reference,
Come
though...
on, quit lollygagging and go to 7th Heaven already. Is your face always that pale? You're not getting enough sleep. You know, Tifa's probably wondering why you haven't joined her yet.
One of the main characters of the Squaresoft 90s classic Chrono Trigger is named Marl, spelled exactly that way. Now that character was a blonde teenaged girl, but same name. And I don't know if it was deliberate, but like there has never been an instance of that character's name being spoken out loud before this game. So a lot of people took this as like canon confirmation. Yes, at last, after 25 years, I was right for calling her Marl and not Marley.
There'll be no way of life for anyone if we kill the planet.
So the environmentalists say.
Those damn environmentalists.
How dare they?
Otherwise, what's the point?
How dare they not love this grime and scum?
Position until nightfall. We'll report any developments immediately if observed.
Good on you, kid. Keep it up.
Keep up the good work.
My husband decided to go to the station and see if it had gotten...
So yeah, this is what I was talking about in the bonus episode, where when you're walking around in Sector 7, you're going to be walking past a lot of NPCs, and you can stop and listen to what they have to say, but it's meant to be an effect of you're overhearing conversations as you're walking through the street.
Yeah.
Including, in a second here, the guy up there who's painting that wall.
A friend of mine's in a
if I'd stayed there longer, I'm sure we'll see him again later. He doesn't remember the rest of the lyrics to the Stamp theme song. He eventually devolves into Stamp is gonna something, something, do-do-do, save the day.
What's in the wallet? What's happening to the planet?
Morning.
Hey.
Just so you know, Marlene's still asleep. Let's get down to business, shall we?
Huh?
These water filters won't replace themselves. Although the next batch probably could, if Jessie put her mind to it. Most every home in the area has one. Folks love them because they practically eliminate the rotten egg smell. Honestly, they make us more money than this place. And it's easy money, too. We bring new filters, collect the old ones, and get paid.
Why are my side quest alarms going off?
I'm not a salesman. I'm a soldier.
Which is why no one will refuse to pay. What do you say? Please?
Do you have consistent problems with people refusing to pay, Tifa? I feel like I need to be told a little bit about any hazards in this work environment.
She got out from behind that bar quick.
She's got a lot of practice getting out from behind there. Got a lot of bar fights breaking out that she's gotta break up. Tifa's a tough lady. We're gonna learn. Anyway, so I said we weren't going to look at the map in this game too much, and we really aren't. But another neat feature is this. There's a map of the entirety of the city of Midgar, which looks...
I've never seen this screen before.
That looks like the one that that Jessie was showing to us on the screen on the train earlier. So it shows you where you currently are, and what it also does, if you hit the button down there that says Toggle Names, it'll also show you the locations of any places you've already been to in the game. So we can see where the first reactor was during the mission, and that was and that's the plate that we were running around on during our escape sequence, and now we're down in Sector 7.
Okay.
And there's a wireframe map, like that wireframe map pretty much exactly appears in the original game in that scene where Jessie's showing us stuff on the train.
Okay.
So it's not useful to navigating the game, obviously, but cute to kind of get your bearings and a sense of the world. So the jukeboxes are optional content. This Final Fantasy VII has a huge soundtrack. It has a very noteworthy soundtrack, and a lot of tracks that we won't get to because they might not logically play at this part in the remake. So you can find tons of renditions of themes that we will hear during this, like Tifa's theme, which we actually heard a few minutes ago. And you can also find tracks for songs that would not logically appear here. Okay. There are dozens of these. They are all really good arrangements of classic tunes from this game. You find them around at different locations of the game, and you can play them anywhere that there's a jukebox, like here in 7th Heaven.
And for the longest time, you couldn't listen to any high-quality rips of them because they didn't exist.
Yeah, they weren't in the officially released soundtracks, but I think people have got the files by now, so you can listen to them.
For sure.
Thanks.
And don't worry. We'll pay you the difference after.
There's so many people who
Barrett's out making his rounds too.
As long as I get it all today.
I'd love to see Barrett's salesman tactics.
I don't know. He can be nice when he wants to be. He's got respect for the common man and the people down here who are, you know, who love their homes and don't have the luxury of choice, right? Maybe he wouldn't be too
But he also has a short temper.
It is true. It is true.
Tifa, baby, how you doing? Been waiting for you to... Wait, who's he?
Cloud's in charge of collections. He'll take your money.
He's my sexual harassment lawyer.
If you ever need someone to fill in, I'm your man.
In your dreams, maybe.
Huh?
Cloud! Since we're here, maybe we should do a little shopping.
Suppose I could take a look?
So that little gramophone over there is playing, and you can see up in the corner there's a record with question marks next to it. That means that there is a track to be acquired somewhere in the vicinity. In this case, it's the Prelude, which is one of the two, I guess, main themes of the entire Final Fantasy series.
Containing a dance song. That's an interesting way to describe it.
This remix of the Prelude actually is very similar to the version of the Prelude from Final Fantasy X, which is a little bit more dancey and upbeat, but it is typically a harp or piano, low-key kind of track that plays on a main menu or in opening moments of the Final Fantasy games. We did hear this game's rendition of the prelude when we were on the main menu earlier, and we'll talk about some more music stuff later. So yeah, we got a bunch of material we can get here. We got Deadly Dodge for free earlier, and I know a sweet hookup for a free ice materia in a few minutes, so we're not going to waste our money on that, but we will go ahead and buy this lightning materia. Dude just got all his money back. He handed us 200 bucks and we spent 500.
If you're ever in the market for anything else, drop on by. Especially if Tifa's with you.
Gross.
We'll see you around, okay? And let us know when your filter next needs changing.
All the items you can want.
He's a regular. Stock up here and he might throw in a freebie or two.
For you, maybe.
Well, you could try being a little nicer.
To get free shit? Not my style.
Based.
Our next stop is Stargazer Heights. Landlady's a client.
Just met her.
Then you know what to expect. Remember, she's a good friend of Avalanche, so be nice. Please.
She's also letting you stay there for free.
For free.
For free.
Apparently it was done by a terrorist group called...
To be fair, Cloud wasn't difficult with her. She gave him no
Yeah.
reason to be difficult, and he wasn't difficult back.
Yep.
Hey, Marl. Got some filters for ya.
Tifa, my dear, dear girl. Oh, what's he doing here?
Working?
Be nice. Cloud's helping me with collections.
You better take care of her.
I'm pretty good at taking care of myself, you know.
That I do. Still, better him than you. No charm, no wit. Big sword, but no skills.
I've got skills.
I've got two of them. They're under the skill menu. I'll get more as I level up.
He looks so sad right there.
Are you getting enough sleep? A good long rest will cure anything, I tell you.
A tried and true lesson for life on the ground floor. Am I right?
That you are. Now, your money.
Thanks, Marl. You take care of yourself.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
This is just letting you know you can go back to your bed and you can get a full HP refill. That crossfade happened there because I forgot that she had more dialogue.
Still have work to do. Well, go on then. Get back to it. You'd have more color.
Yeah, speaking of textures, don't look at that manhole texture too long.
Don't worry about it. We also jumped to 720p because this is footage I recorded 2 years ago.
Even
She
tastier.
helped get me set up back in the day.
You've been here a while now?
5 years, give or take.
Ain't they short-handed?
But never mind that. We've got to get you your money. Last stop is the weapons store.
She got the Astro Boy boots on.
Yeah, and they were pictured on her Tifa's theme, like, CD cover.
Yep. Alright, anyway, back to new 1080p footage. Yay.
Hey! That last filter didn't do shit!
We're so sorry about that. Hopefully this one will work better.
Save your excuses and get out!
All right. If you could just settle your bill, we'll be on our way.
The hell? You charging me for your busted-ass goods?
My associate handles payment disputes.
Think you can mosey up in here and have it your way?
Pretty please.
Thank you very much. Seeing as we're done with our rounds and you've got a small fortune now, why not take a gander at the weapons?
Well, when will Barrett be back with the rest?
Before we open up tonight. It'll be a while yet, so... What do you want to do?
Don't really know.
In that case, I've got a suggestion. Want to hear it? If you're serious about becoming a merc, then you're going to need to start making connections. It's not what you know, but who you know, you know?
Another lesson for life on the ground floor.
Yep. Connections get you jobs. Jobs build your rep. And more rep gets you better connections.
How do I start?
Why not help out the Neighborhood Watch? They're mostly volunteers, but you'll get to know people.
I'm sure people have noticed it by now, but some of these cutscenes, you can kind of tell because they're the ones that have the little arrow for like skipping dialogue. Some of these cutscenes are of lower production value than the rest because there are a lot of cutscenes in this game, so some of them they do go for some of the, you know, they're using a lot of canned animations, they're using kind of automatic lip sync animations, not quite as hand done. To be fair, I think it looks better than like Mass Effect And some people might say Mass Effect was years ago, Jacob, and I'm like, but Mass Effect Andromeda was like 3 years ago. I still think it looks pretty decent by the standards of these big AAA games, putting in these like auto-done cutscenes, basically. I think it looks okay.
Oh, hey, Cloud. Looking to join the Neighborhood Watch?
That depends. What does this Neighborhood Watch do?
Watches the neighborhood, Cloud.
Really.
Come on, get with the program.
Who's taking care of any beasts that wander into town. That, and teaching the locals how to defend themselves.
Like they say, the only one who will look out for you is you.
Cloud's a great fighter, but only we know that. If no one knows him, no one will hire him. Thought if he joined the Watch, he could get his name out there.
That would work for everybody.
Truth be told, we could really use your help. We can't pay you in gil, but we'll work something out. For example... Aha! What about your sword? I could mod it for you.
No thanks. It's fine just the way it is.
What? You some kind of purist? I know I'd never pass up a chance to improve my gear. Come on. At least let me show you how it's done.
So I mentioned in the previous episode that eventually you got the ability to put more materia slots into your weapons. You can put a lot more stuff into your weapons than just materia slots. So in addition to your character leveling up and the materia system, this game also has the ability, as you level up, the skill points aren't, like, it's not like AP and EXP where it's different systems. You just get skill points whenever your characters level up.
Okay.
There are a few other ways to get skill points, but they're not important right now. You can use this system to upgrade the statistical attributes of your weapons specifically. This is partially done so that weapons don't just become antiquated when you get one with better numbers. So there's going to be a sword that's better for attack, better for magic, better for whatever, one that's more well-balanced. And while we will get swords that are better than the Buster Sword, which we're using right now, this system does mean that if we want to use the Buster Sword at the ending of the game, we can. We can make it basically as powerful as anything else in the game. It's really down to how you want to build Cloud, if you want to be using more magic, if you want to be using other unique abilities around some of the swords. But anyway.
It's really cool as well, because it's like, you have that option, but also finding new weapons is still exciting, because they're different, and they all have, you know, unique abilities specific to them as well.
In addition to, like, they'll have interesting stats that you can potentially get. Like, some of them might give your character like your Punisher mode, like, does more damage or whatever, right? It just says there's, like, specific boost to that, right?
Yeah.
There are other swords that'll give other kind of unique attributes that to your just, you know, just passive things. But also, as we will learn, I was talking about Cloud only has 2 skills right now, and he'll get more as he levels up. You actually don't get skills from leveling up. You get skills from weapons, which is a system that existed in actually several older Final Fantasy games. You see over there in the corner, it says there's just a picture of Focus Thrust playing over and over again. You have that one by default, but each weapon in the game does come with a different ability, and usually it expects you to do something to earn it. Like, you have to have the weapon equipped, and it'll say, like, perform the attack X number of times or whatever.
Okay.
Or do whatever with it. It'll have some kind of parameter, and once you do that enough times, then you can use it no matter what weapon you have equipped.
Okay. So it's encouraging you to at least try all of the new weapons.
Needless to say, you'll have to try it out to appreciate the difference.
Thanks.
We'll do you one better. Spread the word to everyone who'll listen about the new Merc in town.
Between him and Wedge, there isn't anyone they don't know.
I'll march through the streets singing your praises, even on an empty stomach.
So, where are these monsters?
Scrap Boulevard. Good hunting.
Hey, Cloud, I'll come with.
No, I've got this.
Yeah, I noticed she has little things on her wrists with materia in them.
Yep, she does. She is, she would fall into the traditional monk class in Final Fantasy, which means she's a martial artist.
Okay.
So her weapons are gauntlets or gloves of different kind.
Her weapons are these hands.
Yes, exactly. These weapons, my weapons are these fists o' mine.
You can go all over town, meet all kinds of people, and no one bats an eye.
What do you
Working
mean by
for
that?
the Neighborhood Watch is the best kind of cover.
Yeah, that line doesn't make sense until you get the follow-up line.
The new Merc when we're through.
This isn't just a cover. We really do want to keep the neighborhood safe. We grew up here, after all. Just so you know, the Watch relies on residents' donations for funding. Let me have a look at your sword when you get back, huh?
So one thing I really like about this, it's pretty funny, is obviously Biggs and Wedge have not left this room, but NPC dialogue has now changed, and people will go, is that the guy that Biggs mentioned? Is that the guy Wedge was telling me about earlier? And they're doing, we'll see, they're doing a very bad job of advertising for him as well, by the way. There's a billboard for monsters slain this month. That's not a good number. No, maybe it's the first of the month. Maybe it's the first of the month.
We can hope.
Searching for candidates.
That voice! Oh my god. I called Cloud a twink earlier. Oh, we'll return to you later, King Twink.
Is that who Wedge mentioned? The merchant?
The
that sword's massive.
What does he sell again?
Oh no.
If any harm comes to her.
Oh yeah? Never should have come here.
Here's Scrap Boulevard.
I can see why monsters would feel right at home.
And the more we pile up, the more they show up.
So yeah, there are a lot of people living in other parts of the slums down here, but there's also just a lot of blasted wasteland. In the previous episode, the flower peddler told us, what's the last time you saw a real flower?
Yeah.
In the bonus episode, and then Tifa commented on it here too. And Barrett was talking about the soil dries up, the plants die, etc., etc. Mako reactors don't seem to be doing too good for the environment.
Nope.
But anyway, just picked up some ice material. You can get that for free. You don't have to waste the money. Yay!
Gross.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Stinky.
Oh no!
Now remember, in the first episode, we saw that the boss could bind one of the characters, and the other character had to free them. Some standard enemies can do that too. Now, Tifa is a pretty interesting character. She seems really simplistic to play, but she's actually got a lot going on, and I can't show any of it off here because all of these enemies die too quickly.
That's the thing. I think when we were talking about this when I first played it, I was like, she was the character that I got last, as far as like understanding how they work.
So that's what a soldier looks like in action.
This was just a warning.
I love how that reads totally differently because of how that fight went.
Yeah, no, she's really cool and really good, but it's like, of the characters, I would say figuring her out on your own is probably the toughest.
It's on you.
Okay, let's go.
Is there a giant rat?
There's a big rat too, yeah.
R-O-U-S's?
Yep. They do in fact exist, unlike ghosts. But so yeah, this is telling us about her triangle ability. Remember last time around we saw that that Cloud could switch to a different mode and Barrett could use a big attack.
Yeah.
So Tifa, when she fills up ATB, the way that her triangle move works is it can get stronger. She can use ATB to perform a move called Unbridled Strength, which will make her her triangle move more powerful. But I didn't even have time to show off her basic dive kick move because Cloud killed that rat so fast. We're really just, I shouldn't even bother trying to explain how Tifa works yet. We'll see it better in another episode because I really just can't do much with her.
I was gonna say, you really got to be fighting a single powerful enemy to be able to show her off.
She's good at fighting normal enemies, obviously. Just like you can't see like what her weird, wacky, unique stuff is without doing that. Anyway, something else you can do in the menu if you want to. You may notice that next to Cloud's name over in that picture it says Leader, and that's not next to Tifa, right?
Right.
So one of the things that you can do is, while you are always going to be playing as Cloud when you're out of combat, if you know that you want to start a combat encounter as a different character, you can set that person to be the party leader. You won't switch when you're out of combat, but the second that a combat encounter starts, you'll just automatically jump over to the other character.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Makes it a little bit easier to switch over to Tifa and show stuff off, but not easy enough. So there, that uppercut that she did, that was her triangle ability. You can build up ATB, and then you can use a move that makes her triangle ability progressively stronger during the fight, basically.
Nothing?
You too. It's a little surprising.
Well, I've been here 5 years now. If you don't look out for yourself, no one else will. By the way, that one's gonna be on the test.
This a lesson?
Gotta learn if you're gonna stick around. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Since I was kind of talking over that, she was just expressing surprise that he's as good at this as he is, and he was saying it's a little surprising that you're as tough as you are now.
Yeah.
They haven't seen each other in a while.
In 5 years. Maybe longer.
On top of the fact that he's using a sword and she's just punching.
Yeah.
Punching and kicking.
Don't worry about it.
It's like she doesn't even have like brass knuckles or anything on. She's just whooping ass.
I forget why I slowed down here, what I was going to explain. Oh, no. Oh, Blizzard. So I talked about last time around. So robotic, it's not always going to happen. But usually monsters are weak to blizzard, humans are weak to fire, and robots are weak to thunder.
All right. I think that might be the last of them.
They won't stay gone for long.
Of course not. Even so, folks will be grateful for the peace and quiet in the meantime. A win's a win, you know?
True.
Trust me, it'll do wonders for your rep. Right. Let's go check in with Biggs and Wedge.
So since I forgot why I left it on that menu to explain how it works, Blizzard, unlike the other spells, which basically you cast them, they travel to the enemy and it hits them, Blizzard sends out a small thing that just kind of lingers at that spot. And if the enemy is weak to ice, it has the chance to pressure them. And a few seconds later, it explodes and becomes a big ice thing, and that's when it actually does its damage. Blizzard can be really difficult to use, because if an enemy is moving fast, it just won't get affected by it at all.
Yeah.
It also means that there are points where enemies will cast Blizzard on you, and you can, after the initial hit, you can dodge roll away, and the attack just doesn't do any damage.
Woo! 8 enemies killed.
8 enemies slain.
How do they know that?
How did they know about there was a new merc in town? I mean merchant. I mean merc.
One, too. Now the slums should be safe.
You guys are machines.
Good job. Meanwhile, we told everyone we could about you.
So I heard. I've got to ask, though. What did you tell them?
It's all right. All you gotta do is keep up the good work. It'll pay off soon enough, I promise.
Cloud doesn't want to get doxxed.
Good.
I just got into town. I don't want everybody to know where my apartment is.
Glad to hear it. Seems like the perfect fit for you.
Yeah. We've been through a lot.
Oh. You okay?
I'm fine.
Been meaning to ask. After you left the village...
It's a long story.
I've got time. Why don't you tell me all about it while we try to rustle up some more work for you?
That sounds great. I'll come too.
Oh, no you won't.
What?
Run along now, you two.
Sorry,
Go on.
maybe next time.
Huh?
No fair.
Think about it for a second. They haven't seen each other in years. You'd be a third wheel.
Hey, before we get back to it, why don't you check out the weapons?
No need.
Come on, the dealer's probably...
Yeah, it was kind of a bizarre transition.
It was,
Might treat you better.
I don't know.
Normally this game has a near pathological obsession with every cutscene, the camera coming to rest gently behind Cloud's back in perfect gameplay camera position. So when it doesn't do it, it's very noticeable.
So don't you worry.
I'd love to hear about your old adventures sometime, okay? If people come around asking for help, I'll be sure to point them in your direction. Seriously though, I'm sure you got all kinds of interesting stories to tell.
Oh yeah.
He really loves just manhandling that grenade launcher.
I don't know. I always thought it was a grenade launcher, but I think you do.
It kind of does look like a machine gun.
I think when he fires it later, it is just a machine gun.
Okay.
Even though I wish it was a grenade launcher, if only because it'd be funnier.
No better way to keep you and your family safe than with a weapon of your own. Come and check out our selection. Speak with our friendly staff to find the perfect weapon for you and your needs.
That'll take on any monster. You the man?
I mean, I'll kill like a couple of dire rats and some gorgers, if that's what you mean.
I get antsy when business is slow. Man in your line of work needs weapons, no? Why not try that one on for size? Yours on the house. Badass like you rocking my weapons is good advertising. Think about it.
Fine.
Or if you want to take a look at something else.
Just a look.
There's not actually much to get out of this store right now. I think I lingered in this menu for a little bit longer than I ought have. I forget if I cut it out or not, because I realized, oh crap, did I buy anything 2 years ago? Because I am going to go back to because I'm not reshooting everything that I shot 2 years ago. I am going to go back to that file eventually, so I was kind of here for a little bit too long. But you saw there was one of those, you saw the little circles underneath the names of each of those armor things. Those are materia slots.
Does he ever actually sell another weapon?
I don't think he ever sells another weapon.
I want to say that was bugging me when I played this.
I think, I mean, like some of the stores like do update, but I don't think he ever sells another sword. Because after this, most of the time you're gonna find new unique weapons in chests or from like completing a story thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there are like 1 or 2 points where you can buy a brand new weapon, but it's almost never.
Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, acquiring weapon abilities. This is what I was talking about a second ago. Achieve maximum proficiency in the weapon's ability. That ability becomes your own, and you can use it without the weapon equipped. This is a system that has appeared in a number of Final Fantasies previously. Final Fantasy IX had something kind of like this. A lot of the Final Fantasies that have job systems where you're switching between like play styles will ask you to level up a job to keep some of its abilities before switching to something else. So it's a pretty common gameplay thing.
The guy who tracks all the requests that come to the watch.
Yeah, but I really like it because all the weapons, like it basically forces you to use all of them, and it's like even the ones I didn't really think I'd like. By the time I'd unlocked the ability, I was like, no, it's like I get it. It's cool. You know, maybe you don't think you'll like it, then you try it, and it's like, oh, actually, this really gels with my playstyle.
So Tifa's got weapons we can upgrade as well, but we'll deal with that later. So this guy has 3 materia slots in it by default, and you can even see them on the thing. That's great. But yeah, one of the things you can do when you expand the when you level them up is you can buy more materia slots. Okay. They don't actually appear on the model in gameplay. The slots that they have visibly is just whatever they had when you started. But you can buy more so that the weapon doesn't get outmoded.
And
because
boy, am I a slut for materia slots.
By the ending of this,
sacrifice stats to have more of them.
Our characters are going to be running around with like what? Probably like at least how many? Like 12, 18 materia slots.
Wow. I was gonna say like 10 to 15 on average, maybe more, maybe less. But I know I was always. It's like. Specifically, like the bracelets and the bangles and stuff. It's like, okay, well the stats on this one are bad, but
it's got lots. It's got slots.
It's got slots, baby. Let's go.
3 green orbs.
Listen, stats don't matter if you're good, so just be better.
Exactly.
Level them bitches up.
Got new numbers for Monster Slaying this month. Check them out.
Yeah, I heard it too. But we've got no authority to.
Anyway.
And a lot of the weapons look just cool in this game as well.
Yeah.
You should have a shot at me.
What is that guy's problem? He bumped into Tifa, then into me, then into Tifa again. Then he dragged her over into the guy doing sit-ups and crunches. What's up with that? Anyway, we're gonna get away from this rude asshole here. We're just gonna reflect on a hard day's work. 8 monsters slain. Excellent. Get out of here, guy. Yeah, that's right. Keep walking. Alrighty. Next episode's gonna be a little bit different. We're not gonna continue immediately on with the story. I want to talk about I want to talk a little bit of series history.
Okay.
And reflect a little bit on the past. We'll see you guys next time.